Aries, what's going on with you? Come on in, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name's Alan Hill from UnknownTruthTarot.com. Welcome back to another Aries love reading. Today we're going to take a look at the status of the love connection between you and your romantic person of interest here in November 2025. So let's get one card here for what's the mutual point of interest between Aries and their romantic person of interest here in... Okay, we're taking two. No biggie. Okay, cool. What's going on with you, Aries? What's going on with Aries as it relates to their person of interest and the connection between them? I got one flip right side up here. Let's get one more card for Aries. What's going on with Aries? Okay, we're taking two again. That one smacked me right in the mouth. Oh my god. Oh, snap. Well, damn. When I got the shared energy, I'm like, okay, this one might be a positive reading for a change. What's going on with your person, Aries? What's going on with Aries' person of interest as it relates to Aries and the connection between them? Okay, thank you. Well, what do we have here? The overall energy of this reading is the Eight of Pentacles. This is Virgo energy of work, putting in the work, putting in the effort, putting in the time and energy on something to get what you want, or at the least being willing to put in that work, time, effort, and energy on something. What's underlying that is the Six of Pentacles. So we got some more earth energy here. This is Taurus energy. This is supposed to be an energy of balance. This is supposed to be generosity or reciprocity, like you scratch my back, I scratch your back, we take care of each other. It can represent equal give and take. That's not bad, looking like maybe we're trying to put the work in to balance this out, but then behind that we get the Eight of Swords. This is Gemini energy. This is about being stuck in your head on this repeating loop in your mind, grinding on something over and over and over again. It's about not really being sure what the safe step to take is, and then feeling stuck and trapped and blocked, not wanting to make some kind of a mistake and do the wrong thing. A lot of times this will have something to do with having some information that's missing, like maybe I've got this open loop and I have to grind on something. Maybe there's something that I don't fully know about yet, haven't seen all the way yet, and trying to fill in the blanks has kind of got me stuck in my head grinding on it. But it's an energy of grinding on something. So maybe it's we're grinding on how do we put the work in to balance this out, and I can't quit thinking about that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But that's the gist of what it looks like this is going to talk to me about. We might come back to that as we go through, but this shared energy is energy that affects both of you in some way here in November 2025, Aries. We got two instead of one. We got the Empress and the Emperor. So card 3 and 4 of the major arcana. The Empress is always pregnant. She's the mother of the tarot deck, so she's always giving birth to something. In a relationship reading, she represents the birth of something new. That's usually a new connection. Sometimes that can represent trying to rebirth a connection, as in like, let's try to put the work in on this and balance it out and rebirth this thing. But then we get the Emperor with that, and this is your major arcana card, Aries. This is an energy of control. It's about taking control, taking charge of a situation. This is a master manifester energy in the sense of it's someone who has all the tools, abilities, and resources to put together a plan to get what they want and then execute that plan to get what they want. It's about taking control. This is usually the person that's in charge, that's making the rules, that's calling the shots, that's setting the boundaries here. So we could be trying to rebirth the connection with someone else that's in control. This could be this person wanting to rebirth the connection with you. So let's clarify that and see what else this tells me here. Tell me more about the Empress and the Emperor. Why is that the shared energy? All right. Okay. What's underlying the shared energy? Knight of Pentacles. This is the slowest moving knight in the deck. This is usually a very slow, monotonous, frustrating kind of an energy. I usually get this when someone wants something to happen so bad, like they wanted it yesterday, but instead of getting it right now, they're getting the very slow drip. They're getting the snail's pace. So this is usually like make you want to pull your hair out kind of an energy. It can sometimes represent a person who knows what they're supposed to do but isn't doing it for some reason. Or even the opposite, a person who knows what they're not supposed to do but they do it anyway. Okay, looks like very, very slow progress toward that Six of Pentacles again, which is Taurus energy of balancing this back out, trying to make this equal give and take. Now, the negative piece of this card, and the only reason I'm bringing it up is because of what I'm seeing out here in your energy, is that can represent the merchant here giving to two people in the physical sense, and he's kind of got one behind his back here. So sometimes that can just be fairness and equal give and take. He's giving equally to both people, but sometimes it could be a case where we got someone giving to two. This is also looking frustrating in that, like, I'm wanting this to balance out and I'm expecting to see this fast progress, but from where you sit, it might look like there is no movement happening. Maybe getting frustrated with that. I have the Six of Swords right behind it. That's Aquarius energy. This is about moving forward into calmer waters. It's about leaving the rough, choppy waters of the past behind and moving forward into clear waters. This implies a few things. First, it implies that the Five of Swords has already happened because we're at the Six, and the Five of Swords is a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event. Sometimes it can be a betrayal, sometimes it can be a big fight. It's just something mentally and psychologically painful, regardless of what that is. But it's in the past, it's already happened. So you can't really change the past at this point. The real power you have here is in what you do moving forward. And the other implied thing about the card is as you're moving forward, this is an energy of moving away from pain and moving forward. The implied thing is because the painful thing has already happened, your choice is, do I carry the burden that this painful thing has caused me into my future with me so it keeps weighing me down and holding me back? Or do I carry forward the lesson that this painful thing has caused me? That way something like that doesn't happen again. This is looking like I want to rebirth this, but maybe it's not under my control. Maybe it's under someone else's control here. There's the willingness to put the work in to try to balance this out, but then there's some idea of like, I don't have all the answers here and I can't quit grinding on it, and maybe I'm feeling stuck and trapped, which might be why I'm considering like moving forward here and leaving something behind. Now, when I clarify the Empress and the Emperor, I get the Chariot, Page of Swords, and the Moon. The Chariot is the Cancer Major Arcana card. So we're seeing a lot of Major Arcana already. You've got two in your energy. Your person has one. I've got two here in the clarifiers, and both of the shared energy cards are Major Arcana. So there's a lot of powerful energy here. The Chariot, at its core, is about the underlying will to overcome the obstacles, the problems, the challenges, the stuff that's in my way. It's about trying to get past all that through willpower alone and move forward very fast in success and victory. Pretty stark contrast to this really slow-moving Knight of Pentacles here. Looking like maybe from where you sit, it might seem like nothing's moving at all. There is an imbalance present in the card, or the potential for an imbalance. We have a black sphinx and a white sphinx, and the driver has no reins to control this. And that black sphinx represents the shadow element of a person. The white sphinx represents the light aspect of a person. And if those two parts of you aren't in alignment, if they're not pulling in the same direction, this thing's every bit as stuck as the Hanged Man. Now, if this stuff is in alignment, this is overcoming the obstacles and moving forward very, very fast. I got the Page of Swords next, which is an energy of someone who's trying to learn something, trying to figure something out. Sometimes this is spying, snooping around, investigating, researching. It's some form of trying to learn or uncover some information here. It's looking directly at the Chariot. So sometimes the Chariot can represent the overcoming of the obstacles. Sometimes it can represent someone getting the hell out of Dodge. Maybe this is trying to figure out what happened, trying to figure out, are both of us pulling in the same direction, or am I pulling this way and they're pulling that way? Can we rebirth this or not? Seems like the obstacle is someone in control here. Could be trying to figure out, can we overcome this? Are we both in alignment? Are both parts of myself in alignment here? Next, I get the moon. This is Pisces energy. This is sometimes fear, worry, and anxiety from uncertainty. If you think about when the moon's out, it's dark outside. You can't see your own hand in front of your face. So it can be really difficult to tell, am I on the right path or not? Is this the right path for me? Was it the right path to begin with? Did I make a wrong turn somewhere? Do I need to go back the other way? So just that level of uncertainty can cause fear, worry, and anxiety. The negative piece of the moon is sometimes it can represent something being hidden in the dark, a secret being kept. And I mentioned with this Eight of Swords that a lot of times that involves not having information about something and trying to close that open loop in my mind. Damn, I feel like I'm supposed to go deeper here. Right behind that Eight of Swords is the Two of Cups, damn, and the Three of Swords. The Two of Cups is Cancer energy. This is a connection between two people, an emotional connection. It's also a 2, and in tarot, 2s are about choices. So this is a choice about this connection. Are we going to put the work in on this? Can we balance it back out or not? Sometimes this can represent a choice between two different people, two different connections. And I get the Three of Swords. Libra energy, this is heartbreak and sadness from the third energy. That's not always a romantic third party, although it definitely can be that, especially when it's got 2 cups with it here. And I've seen the Six of Pentacles here. I saw the Six of Pentacles right below this Knight of Pentacles. That can represent someone giving to 2 people and maybe moving forward, moving on. That could be what this is talking about with the Empress, birthing something new. This could also just be wanting to rebirth this connection, stuck in my head, grinding on the connection and the choice we have to make about, do we work on this or not? But this third energy here, like I said, it doesn't have to be a romantic third party. It can be. Sometimes this is geographic distance. Sometimes this is working too much. Sometimes it's partying too much. Like any number of things could represent that third energy. It usually just means it's not you. It's not necessarily your person directly. There's something else here causing some sort of a heartbreak and sadness. Could be that we got something that's hidden, that you just don't know if we can overcome this or not, or if they're pulling in the same direction as you or not. Gonna scoot this over. I'll freely admit to you, it's not uncommon at all that I don't fully understand what the hell this is trying to tell me at the early stage of the reading. I normally don't fully understand this until I get at least part of the way through your energy. I'll come back to it as I go through your energy, Aries, because then I can see how it applies to you. I'll come back to it again when I go through your person's energy for that same reason. Your energy in this connection, first card is the most important. We get the Fool. Central to your energy is the Five of Swords. And your final card came out as 2, Three of Cups, and the Tower. So now it's looking like we got some bad problem happening here. This Fool energy is the first card of the Major Arcana, card 0. It's the first card of the whole tarot deck. This is a new beginning at something. It's usually the new beginning where I don't really know how this is going to work out. I don't know what the steps even are. It's about having that willingness to just take the blind leap of faith, like to just leap off the cliff, and I will worry about how to grow wings on my way down. I'll figure this out as I go. So this could be you're ready to take the leap of faith and put the work in on trying to balance this out. Maybe you're tired of thinking about it. Maybe you're tired of a slow, monotonous pace and you're ready to just go for it. This can also represent foolish decision-making, foolish behavior, taking unnecessary risks, or taking risks outside of the connection. I understand this is your energy. It's very common that the first card and the first column of clarifiers end up being something from your person that's showing up over here because it's affecting you. So let me clarify the Fool. Why is the Fool here for Aries? It's the first card for November 2025. What do we have? Okay. Underlying that Fool energy. Seven of Swords. Aquarius energy of lying, cheating, stealing, deception, sneaking around behind someone's back, trying to get away with something. Very deceptive kind of an energy. Right behind that is the Fool again. I'm clarifying the Fool right now. This is someone sneaking around, starting a new beginning. That's why I've got the Empress out here, the birth of something new. That's why I saw the Two of Cups here with the Three of Swords. There's probably a new connection that got started, and that's the third energy. And it's possible that that has been kept secret or trying to hide it, trying to sneak around. This is some new beginning. It could also be telling me that there's a piece of this where might not be fully thought out on your end, where it's like maybe this deceptive stuff happened and I'm still ready to take the leap of faith into Temperance, which is Sagittarius major arcana energy. This can be patience. This can be trying to blend these two things together to make something new. That could be what happened here. In tarot, like this can also represent reconciliation, because in tarot, water represents love. And here the love has been separated into two different cups, and she's recombining it back together, trying to blend it back together. So it can represent reconciliation. This is an energy of recalibration. So this usually shows up when something is seriously out of whack, and this is pointing out that we need to like recalibrate some stuff here. Let's get this evened back out. Probably was not fully equal give and take, which is probably why work is tied to that. Like we need to work on the equal give and take piece of this. Maybe they're pulling in a different direction than you. Maybe we can't make up our mind, but it is entirely possible that we have another person involved here. When I clarify the Fool, I get the Six of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. Six of Wands is Leo energy of recognition. Now this can be you getting recognized for something, like getting patted on the back, getting the spotlight shined on you. It can be that kind of recognition. It can also be you coming to some sort of a recognition, as in like, aha, now I see this thing that I couldn't see before. Maybe now I see that they were doing foolish risks outside the connection, sneaking around here. Either way, whether this is you getting recognized or you having a recognition about something, there's forward movement attached to this. So this could be you starting over on a whole brand new beginning and having successful forward movement after the new beginning, after what all this negative stuff happened here. Next, I get Ten of Pentacles. This is Virgo energy. This is most people's goal in the physical reality. It's maximum stability, abundance, and prosperity. It can even be the combining together of two people or two families and all their assets and resources in order to build a stable life together. Living together, getting married, combining lives together, building a life together. So there is some element of like forward movement toward that here. That could just as easily be telling me that you two had combined lives together, whether you were married or engaged or living together or just going down that path. It could have been that that's when whatever this Seven of Swords is, like deception stuff, happened. Queen of Cups is the final clarifier. This is Cancer energy. This is the love and emotions queen. This is the most intuitive queen, very in touch with her intuition, very in touch with her emotions. She's also the only character that has a lid on top of her cup, and she keeps the lid on her cup as a way to protect her emotions from getting contaminated. She's been emotionally hurt before. She doesn't want that to happen again, so she's keeping the lid there. This probably means you have a lot of love and emotions for your person, but you're guarded and hesitant for some reason. What she really wants to do is take the lid off of the cup and pour her love into someone. But like I said, there's a reason why she's guarded. Central for your energy, Aries, is the Five of Swords. I referenced that when I told you about the Six of Swords that I saw in the shared energy. Aquarius energy, fives are conflict. This can be a big fight that ends things. This can be a betrayal. This can be dealing with a person who has this winning at all cost mentality. Like, I'm going to get what I want no matter what. And if you happen to get hurt in that process, well, sorry about your luck. I'm taking care of me and getting what I want. It could be any of those things. Let's clarify. At its core, this is a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event taking place. Tell me about the Five of Swords, please. Why is the Five of Swords central for Aries energy? Well, you can't make that up. I'm probably about to piss people off and get flamed in the comments, but oh well, that's life in the big city. Underlying this Five of Swords energy, Six of Pentacles, again, Taurus energy. Again, supposed to be generosity, supposed to be reciprocity. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. We take care of each other, equal give and take. It doesn't seem to be what it's talking about, considering Five of Swords is what this is underlying. This is the below the surface of the probably betrayal. This can represent the merchant here, giving to two people in the physical sense, which is probably why we have the Seven of Swords. It's probably why we got the Moon here, keeping something secret, why we saw the Three of Swords in the overall energy, probably why we've got this birth of something new, probably why I've got the Tower and the Three of Cups coming up as your next card, looking like we had a betrayal. Also looking like you felt it before you saw it happening. I got the most intuitive queen in the deck out here, and now in the underlying energy, I have the high priestess. This is she who knows. This is your intuition, the gut feelings, the signs, the dreams with messages. This is some form of an internal knowing where you know something, you just don't have any way of knowing it. You don't have the proof, you don't have the facts, you don't have the evidence. In most cases, this is just your intuition talking to you. The problem with the high priestess is most of the time your intuition is going to tell you shit you don't want to hear. It's going to tell you shit you don't want to be true. And yeah, no one wants to have it be true that my person's giving to someone else, that they're keeping secrets from me, that they've birthed a new connection, that they're betraying me. So most of the time, because A, we don't want to believe it to begin with, and B, we don't have any facts to support it, we usually just try to like push this under the rug and pretend like my intuition's not telling me that. But it's telling you that. I got Six of Swords again next. We already saw that Aquarius energy, leaving something painful behind and moving forward. Now sometimes that's leaving the painful thing that happened. I got betrayed. I can't change that now. Sometimes this is I'm leaving this person because they hurt me and I'm moving on. Maybe that's what this new leap of faith is about here, trying to move forward successfully. Sometimes that burden, that do I carry the burden forward with me so it keeps weighing me down? Sometimes the burden is just the painful thing that happened. Sometimes the burden is I'm not listening to my intuition. Sometimes the burden is the other person. And like if I carry them forward with me, I'm just continuing to hurt myself here. Take that part however it applies to you. But when I look at this Five of Swords and clarify that, I get King of Swords, the Lovers, the Ten of Cups. I know that looks like it might be getting positive, except for the fact that it's clarifying betrayal, mental psychological pain, and it has the Devil in the clarifiers with it. So that skews all of it here. This King of Swords, this is Aquarius energy. Feel like I've said Aquarius a few times here. I've got Pisces, Cancer, Aries, a little bit of Leo, Gemini, Sagittarius I've said a couple times, some more Leo, some Virgo. I've said Taurus a few times. There's some more Virgo, some more Gemini, some Cancer again, some Capricorn, some Pisces, some more Gemini. Or Cancer. You could be dealing with any of those signs. Hell, you could be dealing with any sign. It's going to be almost impossible for me to pin down exactly who you're dealing with as an individual person, because I'm not tapping into your personal energy during this reading like I would if I were doing a personal reading one-on-one with you. I'm tapping into collective energy of thousands of Aries people all at once. So I'm going to keep calling these signs out just in case they mean anything to you. But this is Aquarius energy. This is the very smart, logical, rational, conscious mind decision maker. It's also someone, when they make decisions, they usually throw their emotions right out the window. They don't consult their emotions or their intuition. They're interested in the truth and the facts and what can I see right in front of me? What can I verify with my own eyes? What do I know to be true? and I'm going to make my decisions based on that. So sometimes this can feel like a person who's emotionally distant, emotionally detached, even cold and calculated, especially when it's got this winning at all cost attitude tied to it, betrayal, big fight, that kind of energy attached to it. It's sitting right beside this Six of Wands, which is like recognizing that aspect of this person, recognizing that they're making their decisions and their heart doesn't have anything to do with it. It's probably why you've got your lid on your cup here, closing yourself off emotionally, because they're probably very emotionally distant. Next, I get the Lovers, the Gemini Major Arcana card. And before you say it, no, this does not mean they're your twin flame. I get so many comments of people saying that. I've actually written 3 books on twin flames. The whole thing is made up. It was made up in 1973 by a literal doomsday cult leader named Elizabeth Clare Prophet. It's not real. It never has been real. They're not your twin flame. Sorry. This card has never meant that. This card, 1908, is when this deck was published. Twin flames didn't get invented for 60 some more years, so it's never meant twin flames, ain't never gonna mean twin flames. Any reader that's telling you that is just helping keep you stuck. This used to be called the Choice long before it was called the Lovers, and it represents the interconnectedness between people. Sure, it can represent that maybe you feel that this is a powerful connection. Maybe at some point you felt like this person's the one. It's about the interconnectedness, which means they can't make decisions that don't affect you, and vice versa. We've seen betrayal, winning at all cost, cold calculated, merchant giving to 2, your intuition talking to you. We've seen 7 of Swords and the Moon. 3 of Cups in the Towers coming up next. We've seen the 3 of Swords in the bottom of the deck. So any type of decisions like that they were making that, yeah, sure, maybe were in their own best interest, that has an effect on you, and there's no way around that. This is also sometimes a choice about the connection or a choice between 2 different lovers. I've got it sitting right beside the 10 of Pentacles, which on the surface looks positive, except for everything else that I'm seeing around it here. This could be that you combine lives together and had yourself believing that this is the one for me. And maybe at a time, they felt like they were the one for you. But there's this emotional detaching, this emotional distance, this cold, emotionless feeling here. I got the 10 of Cups with it. Now, I swear to you, when I do personal readings, some people, they don't want the truth. What they want to hear is me validate their fantasy and tell them that, yes, this thing that you want is absolutely going to come true. The universe is fixing your boyfriend in the background, and the universe is going to fix him and send him to you next week. Those kind of people would gladly pay me extra money if I would make sure these 3 cards come out. And here they are, all 3 of them in your energy. Combined together life, the Lovers, and the 10 of Cups. Like I said, though, it's in the column with betrayal, mental psychological pain, and the Devil, which is coming next. This is Pisces energy. This is most people's goal in love and relationships. This is the happily ever after, the happy fairy tale romance, the happy fairy tale love connection that we all dream about. And no, I'm not saying that doesn't exist. It absolutely does exist. Problem is, when I'm doing readings like this, I'm reading for people who are having relationship difficulties, not people who are having the perfect happy fairy tale romance that they all dreamed about. If you really have the 10 of Cups with this person, you wouldn't even be here right now watching a tarot love reading, trying to get information about what's really going on or trying to get guidance on the connection. If you really have the 10 of Cups, you don't need what I'm doing. It'd be the farthest thing from your mind. You would just be out living your happy, combined together life, pouring your love into them pouring their love into you. So the fact that you're here is proof that that's not what this is talking about, especially because the Devil's with it. This is normally the idealized point of view that we have, where I'm looking at my relationship for how I want it to be, how I wish it was, instead of how it actually is. So this is that, especially with the Devil, that unhealthy belief about the connection, the unhealthy attachment to this fairy tale component of it. It's sitting right beside the Queen of Cups, but notice she's got her back to it. Now, those two cards together can mean as close to true love as you ever want to find, but why is your emotions closed off? Why do we have betrayal, mental psychological pain, cold decision maker, choice between lovers, foolish decision making? Like, none of that adds up with the actual real 10 of Cups. Then I get the Devil, which is Capricorn's major arcana card. This is a heavy toxic energy. This is obsession. Obsession with this fairy tale idea, the fantasy version of it. Obsession with, this is the one for me. This is a powerful connection. You'll see a lot of readers twist this around and try to make it like, oh no, this is just a heavy attraction. This is like a lot of sexual attraction. No, this is toxic. This is a toxic connection. This is a toxic belief about the connection. It's an unhealthy obsession with the connection on some level here. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm not saying you have an unhealthy obsession with the connection. Although that is possible based on this. It's in the center of your energy. This could just as easily be your person betrayed you, cold calculated, making decisions based on what they want. They have a choice between lovers. Maybe they're convinced that that new person is their happily ever after, even though they're already combined together with you. Maybe that's why you got your back to the 10 of Cups. Then we get the Devil. This is either obsession, addiction, a feeling of being trapped by something, feeling like I can't escape from something. This is another energy of control. There's two of them in the tarot deck, the Emperor and the Devil. The Emperor is about being in control, and the Devil is about something else having control of you and feeling like you have no say in the matter, feeling like you're stuck, like you can't leave, you can't escape it. Notice it's the same two people from the Lover's card, but here they have chains around their neck. They've grown horns and tails because they're trapped in this distorted energy, and it's changing who they are. It's distorting pieces of them. But also notice that the loops around their neck, they could just slide that right off of their head. I saw the Eight of Swords being stuck in the mental loop, grinding on something, can't control my own thoughts. My thoughts are in control of me, grinding about this connection and the heartbreak of it. The Devil is one of those energies that has the power over it that we willingly give to it by refusing to face it, by refusing to take our head out of the loop. Now, granted, that's easier said than done, because when your head's in the loop, you can't see the loop anymore. You may not realize that, okay, I can just walk away from this whenever I want. Makes it incredibly difficult, though, if you believe this person is your twin flame, or they're your soulmate, or they're the one for you, or that the universe is working in the background to fix all of this and hand deliver your wildest dreams to you. And I have to address that, especially because what's coming up next too. If you zoom out for a second and detach from your situation, detach emotionally for a minute, cover your cup up for a second, and let's just look at this logically and rationally for a minute. Look around you. Look at the world around us right now. It's full of things like war, disease, famine, murder, human trafficking, child sex trafficking. Like literally every day, little kids are getting kidnapped and sold off as slaves for unmentionable stuff. And the universe doesn't intervene in that. God, spirit, source, the universe, whatever label you prefer, does not intervene in any of that. But so many of us sit around expecting that the universe is working in the background to magically fix your person and send them back to you. They're not going to intervene to stop war or human trafficking or murder, but they're going to intervene in our own personal individual relationship issues. That's a fairy tale. That is a complete fairy tale. That's not how it works. Final card, Three of Cups and the Tower came out together. The Three of Cups is Cancer energy. This has got two meanings. This is either about being united and celebrating, or even being reunited and celebrating, like getting back together. Or this is about a third-party love triangle because we got 3 cups of love in the picture. And since it's sitting beside the Tower, I really doubt this is talking about reconciliation. This is the collapse of some important structure in your life. This is the foundation rocking event. After this moment, nothing is the same. This is the moment where it all comes crashing down. Now, sometimes this is the collapse of the relationship. Third party got brought in. We got the birth of something new out here, and it's being kept secret. And still trying to figure out how do we overcome it. This could be the collapse of the relationship. This could be the collapse of the belief system that you have about it. Like believing that they're the one for me and this is my happily ever after. And maybe now what you're recognizing is the toxicity that was involved in this. Don't know exactly how that applies for you. So take that part however it fits your situation. Don't do the dumb thing that you hear a lot of readers say, which is take what resonates and leave the rest behind. That is selective hearing. That's tarot's version of selective hearing. Like, doesn't it drive you nuts when your kids or your significant other only hears little bits and pieces of what you say and they completely ignore the parts they didn't want to hear? That's what take it as it resonates and leave the rest actually means. It's encouraging people to cherry pick and only hear, oh, the Lovers and the Ten of Cups came out. This is going to be my happily ever after. But completely ignore the Devil, the Tower, the Three of Cups, the Three of Swords, the Seven of Swords, the Five of Swords, the Moon. Like all of the negative stuff that it tells people to ignore all of the stuff you don't want to hear and only focus on the parts you do want to hear. This can be the collapse of the belief system about this connection. Could just be telling me that the thing that collapsed the whole connection itself was the third cup of love being here. So let me see what's going on. Okay, we got quite a bit of extra stuff here. All right, got you. I was really hoping that this one would turn out positive when I saw Emperor and Empress here. But then as soon as I got your main cards out, I was like, okay, well, it's going to be hard to be positive with the Five of Swords, the Three of Cups, and the Tower. What's underlying the Three of Cups and the Tower is the King of Cups. Now, that is the counterpart to this Queen of Cups that's out here in your energy. Notice, though, they're not out here on the table. They're buried in the underlying energy below the Tower and the Three of Cups. So your person had the third party. This is usually Scorpio energy. This is a person who probably has a lot of love and emotions for you, although you may not actually know whether they do love you or not, because this is not the person who wears their heart on their sleeve. They don't publicly broadcast how they feel, good or bad. The water around his feet is all rough and choppy, which can indicate rough, choppy emotions, emotional turmoil, got some emotional stuff going on that I'm probably not sharing with you. Notice his face is completely straight with no expression. It probably represents that you're viewing them as the other half of the love equation here, especially because I got 10 of Cups out here with the Lovers. The King and the Queen of Cups make the 10 of Cups. But the Devil is also attached to that. So it's not good news. As much as I wish it was, it's not. Behind that King of Cups is the Seven of Pentacles, Taurus energy. This is a period of time, either where you're pausing to reflect and take stock of this whole situation, trying to decide, is this ever going to grow into the 10 of Pentacles that I really want? Is this worth me continuing to put my time, effort, and energy into this? Or is this a spot where maybe it's not going to pan out the way I want, and maybe it's time for me to cut my losses and move on, which is what that Six of Swords we keep seeing is about. The other thing this can represent is a period of time where your person planted the seeds on something. Like they birthed something new. They were doing the sneaking around thing. And if you go plant like an apple seed today, you're not going to wake up tomorrow morning with apples. It don't work that way. There's a lag time from when you plant the seed until it fully develops all the way and you can harvest it. And this represents that lag time. So it's looking potentially like something like this has been brewing in the background for a while. You got Six of Cups behind that. This is Scorpio energy too. This is the energy of the past, thinking about the past, reminiscing about the past, thinking about the good old days and the way things used to be between the two of you. Can represent nostalgia, can represent a deep emotional connection, can represent that there's history to this connection and it's all fallen apart. Can also represent something from the past coming back up again, or something from the past happening again, or a history of something happening as in it's happened before and this ain't the first time that shit's gone to hell in a handbasket because a third party got brought in. Could be any of that stuff. It could represent a person from the past showing back up, which could be this third cup. Doesn't necessarily have to be like someone that they were with romantically before, although it could be that. It could just represent that it's not a brand new, like, stranger type of a person. It's probably someone that they already know on some level. Maybe they work with them. It's someone that there's already some element of history with, and it's been brewing for a while. And they have not been forthcoming with this. When I clarify Three of Cups in the Tower, I get the Three of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, the Star, the World, and the Seven of Wands. Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. This is teamwork, collaboration, working together as equals to build something of value. This is laying the foundations for the Ten of Pentacles that we seem to already have. So this is looking like it's telling me that you guys had a combined together life. Now, clearly, I got the Ten of Pentacles and Ten of Cups out here in your energy. This could be saying that the third party got brought in and it has collapsed this whole idea of teamwork and building this thing together. And maybe now you're recognizing this person's decisions were kind of cold and calculated. Probably the King of Swords is not someone who does not have emotions. All human beings have emotions. We all have every one of these suits within us. Those are part of the gifts that the divine has already given us. The intellect, the unconscious mind, the intuition, the emotions. Your person has them. I just don't know that they were exercising them here. Next, I have the Five of Wands. This is Leo energy. Again, fives are conflict. This is usually an internal conflict. Wands are about passion, desire. So this could be an internal conflict in my desires. In other words, a piece of me wants to be reunited with this person. And then another piece of me realizes this whole damn thing has gone to hell in a handbasket. It could be that. It's like scattered, fragmented energy where a part of me wants this and another part of me wants that. And I'm pulling against myself. I'm playing tug of war inside myself, which I kind of referenced in this shared energy here with the Chariot. The Black Sphinx, the shadow side is pulling one way and the light side is pulling another way. And to me, what that means is the shadow side is pulling towards this fairy tale fantasy version, this idealized viewpoint of it. And the other part of you is probably pulling towards logic and reason and common sense and the facts of what I see to be true. There's some internal conflict that you have here. Maybe even an internal conflict in the teamwork aspect of this where you're pulling this way and they're pulling that way, which again, that could mean this too. They're pulling this way and you're pulling that way. And nothing's moving because of it. Remember, I had the Knight of Pentacles and the underlying energy here. That really slow forward movement. Next, to clarify Three of Cups in the Tower, I get the Star, the Aquarius Major Arcana card. This is a card of hope. It's a card of healing. It's also the card that comes after the Tower, so you don't make it to the Star without going through the Tower first. The Tower is the collapse of the old, and the Star is supposed to be the hope for the new. It's sitting right beside the internal conflict. It's also, or sitting right below the internal conflict. It's sitting right beside the Ten of Cups. Like, I hope this Ten of Cups is real. I hope they love me as much as I love them and I can take this lid off my cup. I hope we can heal this. I hope we can put the work in on it and balance this back out. But then you got this thing in your mind where you don't know if that's true and there's missing information and you can't stop grinding on the hope of fixing it. hope is one of those tricky things. Sometimes hope is the only thing that gets us through, and we absolutely need hope. Sometimes, though, misplaced hope, like with that, that's when hope becomes the chain that's around your ankle and stops you from being able to get your head above the water and breathe, stops you from being able to get free, because we spend all of our time hoping that this thing that I want to believe is the happily ever after, but in reality is something much, much different than that. That's another thing about the devil. It's an illusionary energy. It's very good at convincing us that this toxic shit is the thing that we actually want. It's good at tricking us into believing, no, 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 he is my true love, even though he cheats on me. That's just a minor setback. No, that's toxic bullshit. And sometimes the hope keeps us stuck in that. That's pathological hope. That's misplaced hope. And then that is a trap. That's the loop around your neck. That's the chain keeping you from being able to get away from this. Next clarifier for Three of Cups in the Tower is the World. This is the final card of the major arcana in terms of zodiac signs. It's the four fixed signs: Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. This represents the ending of one cycle and at the same time the beginning of the next cycle, where we start over at the Fool here, which was your very first card. So this represents a completed cycle between the two of you. It's gone from beginning to end. We're in the column that has the Tower in it, and this is the collapse of it. This is the spot where it ends with the Three Cups. So this is either the collapse of this idea of getting back together, or it's the collapse of the relationship because of a third party. This should also be the end of the hope that's causing internal conflict for you. And hopefully it will be the end of this toxic cycle that this connection seems to have been. The problem is, it's kind of like being at the amusement park. If nobody else is there and you get done on the roller coaster, sometimes they'll let you stay on and go for another lap. So even though this should be the ending of a cycle and the beginning of the next, there's no guarantee that you're not just going to do a repeat of what you just had, which, I hate to say it, but it looks like that's kind of what you're hoping will happen, is that we can work on this and do it again. And this card might be talking about what's happening right now as I'm saying all of this stuff. Again, I don't mean to offend you. My purpose in doing this is to get you the truth, so you can face it, so you can see it, so you can make decisions that are in your own best interest. I'm not here to validate anyone's fantasy. I'm not here to validate anyone's delusions. I'm here to get you the truth. The Seven of Wands is Leo energy. This is defensiveness. This is defending my position, defending my stance, being willing to fight to protect something that's important to me, fight to protect something I believe in, defend that, being willing to fight for this connection. We've reached the end of what looks like a toxic connection, and there's still this willingness to fight for it here. That's telling me that the hope really is the internal conflict that you're having. That's the part that's probably keeping you stuck. And this whole Eight of Swords that's 3 cards deep in the overall energy is just that loop that you're stuck on it. And this is the energy where I'm not in control of my thoughts. My thoughts are in control of me. I'm hoping this is not you being defensive against what I've said, because again, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just trying to shock your soul awake to show you what these cards actually mean and hopefully get you free. That's your energy in this connection for November 2025, Aries. You scoot this over and take a look at your person's energy. For them, the first card's the most important. We got the Sun. Central for them is the Nine of Swords. And their final card is the Nine of Wands. We got 2 nines, 2 completion type energies here. At least getting to the point where it's about complete. The Sun is a Leo Major Arcana card. It's the happiest card in the deck. It's happiness, joy, bliss, harmony. Really hard to get a better card than that in a relationship reading, when that's what it means. The other meaning to the Sun is illumination. It is the card that comes immediately after the Moon in the sequence of the Major Arcana. We got the Moon out here, something that you're not looking at, something that you can't see, probably something that's being hidden from you, and you're not looking in the right direction. You're still looking at overcoming the obstacles that are in the way and not looking at, okay, what are they hiding from me? What is it I don't know? Sometimes the Sun can represent the illumination, where when it's dark out and something's being hidden in the dark, the next step is the sun comes up and it's not dark anymore. And now that thing that was hiding gets the light shined on it. It gets exposed and now it can be seen. Tell me more about the Sun, please. Why is the Sun? Could even mean that you have all of your happiness attached to this person. Okay, sorry. Lord. Feels like a 9-volt battery on my tongue when I put them in the wrong order. It's weird. Okay, underlying the Sun, 10 of Swords, Gemini energy. So I've got the 8 of Swords here, 3 cards deep in the overall energy. Your person's central card is the 9 of Swords, and now I've got the 10 of Swords, all 3 Gemini minor arcana cards. This is a swift, painful ending. Sometimes it's an ending you don't see coming, which is why the swords are in your back. Sometimes it's an ending in betrayal, which is why the swords are in your back, getting stabbed in the back and betrayed by someone close to you. Now, this could be things are getting illuminated and you see the betrayal now. Now I see that this is over. Could also mean an end to the happiness that you have attached to them. Could even mean that your person, their view of happiness is ending. Ending as in, like, my view of happiness is let's kill this connection. It's done. And I got 5 of Cups right behind it. Scorpio energy. Again, 5s are conflict. Seen 5 of Wands, 5 of Swords. Now 5 of Cups. This is sadness and remorse about the past. It's about being focused on these 3 spilled cups, and that represents all the love and emotions, all the time, effort, and energy that's been spilled and wasted. It's the loss of something, an emotional loss. Behind the person, though, are 2 upright cups. And that can represent still feeling the connection, which is what's keeping me focused on not having it anymore. This could just be you had all your happiness tied to them, and that's ended, and now you're stuck in this sad emotions, like depression. Like, these are negative emotions. The real core of what the 5 of Cups is about is whatever you focus on is going to dictate what emotions you feel. So if you focus on the loss of something, you feel the loss. If you focus on something that's missing from your life, you feel the gap in your life. But there are 2 upright cups back here. That means you could shift focus and change the way you feel by changing what you focus on. Here, it looks like you don't really have control of what you're focusing on. Your focus is actually controlling you, which doesn't make it your focus at that point. That makes you belong to the focus. Now, what this could also be saying is the 3 cups are spilled because this person brought a 3rd cup of love into the picture, and that's what collapsed everything. And the 2 upright cups in the background could represent there's another connection looming in the background, and that's what killed it. That could be the thing that gets illuminated here for you, because we've seen them keeping it secret and you trying to figure out how to overcome it. And we also saw that 7 of Swords under there, lying and cheating and sneaking around type energy. When I clarify the Sun, I get the Knight of Pentacles, the 6 of Swords again, and the King of Wands. Knight of Pentacles, like I said, slowest knight in the deck. Very monotonous, slow forward movement. Probably feels like nothing's happening, nothing's moving. It can also represent a person who knows what they're supposed to do, but is not doing it for some reason. Looks like what you're supposed to do is end the cycle so you can start a new cycle. And instead of that, you're trying to fight for this and having the hope that we can fight for it and put the work in on it. But notice I said we put the work in on it. First clarifier in that column, 3 of Pentacles, teamwork, collaboration, working together as equals to build something of value together. This idea of we working on it only works if it's truly balanced, if it's truly equal give and take. For example, if you're the only one working on it and I'm not working on it, there is no teamwork. There is no collaboration. There is no equal to that. That's you doing all the work. And this person knows what they're supposed to be doing, but isn't doing that. See, even in this top row, I read this in columns and then I connect it in rows as I go. In this top row, there's recognition, logical, rational mind looking only at the truth and the facts that I can see in front of me and not my emotions whatsoever. And what that is looking at is the equality aspect of it. Is this truly us working together? And then there's the person who knows what they're supposed to do and isn't doing it, probably because all the happiness is tied to it. Like, this looks to me like at least some piece of you recognizes that this is a bad thing and you shouldn't be engaging with it anymore. Also looks to me like your person's version of happiness probably leads them to do shit they're not supposed to do, like birth new connections, lie, betray, that kind of stuff. Keep secrets. 6 of Swords, we've already talked about that. Aquarius energy, it's moving forward, leaving something behind, moving away from it. This is moving away from pain and moving forward towards something else. King of Wands, this is Leo energy. This is the bold, passionate, fiery, determined person who knows what they want and they don't take no for an answer. This is the go-getter type of an energy, very driven, motivated type of an energy. It's also the top tier of the wand suit, and the wand is about passion, desire. And this is someone who's driven and motivated by passion and desire, which is probably what leads them to birth something new. Central for their energy is the 9 of Swords, Gemini energy of fear, worry, and anxiety. This is a step worse than the 8 of Swords. There's 2 cards in the deck that mean fear, worry, and anxiety. I've got both of them here, the Moon and the 9 of Swords. This Moon's in the shared energy, so it's also affecting them. Well, what they're probably worried about is getting found out, getting discovered, having the light shined on them because they're doing stuff they're not supposed to be and probably making decisions instead of with their head or with their heart. They're making decisions with their wand is what it looks like. This could just be them stressing out because they're fearful and worried they're going to get caught. Tell me about this 9 of Swords, please. Wand, wand, wand. All over the place. Their next card is also a wand. 7 of Pentacles. Again, period of time where they planted the seeds on something and they're waiting on it to fully develop so they can get some reward out of it. And they're fearful and worried about that, probably because there's been a lag time here from when they started thinking with their wand and moving away from something. And it's probably taken way longer than they want. King of Cups, and they're keeping their emotions hidden. Yeah, what they're keeping their emotions hidden, what they're in emotional turmoil about, what they're in mental anguish about is 3 of Cups, Cancer energy. This, yeah, sure, it could be being reunited and celebrating, but that doesn't sound like what's going on. I got 2 cards of them moving forward here and them freaking out, probably about getting caught with the third party. 6 of Cups is behind it. So again, probably not a brand new person to them. It's not a stranger. It's someone they already know on some level. I still got that card of work looking at me. Might be somebody they work with. When I clarify 9 of Swords, I get 3 of Wands, Ace of Wands, 4 of Wands. 3 of Wands is Aries energy of waiting. This is like I already know what I want. I've chosen the path that I believe leads me to the thing that I want. I've started taking steps down the path. I'm taking actions to try to create the thing that I want. And I fully expect what I want's going to happen. Just hasn't happened yet. I got 2 cards here about waiting on it. Right beside this waiting on it energy is the slowest knight in the deck, like molasses, slow drip. I wanted it yesterday, but I'm getting the snail's pace and I'm waiting, and there's a worry about that. Next is the Ace of Wands. Passionate new beginning and passion and desire. Again, birthing something new. It's the phallic symbol of the deck. It represents the male you know what and using it to do you know what and sexual energy and all that fun stuff. And right here we got them as the King of Wands. This is what's making their decisions. 4 of Wands. Aries energy. 4s are stability. So this can represent stability of the home life, stability of the family life, stability of the connection between the two of you. The 4 wands also represent 1111, which is the number of manifesting. In the wand suit, the story of manifesting is in the suit. The 2 is where you decide what you want your life to be like, which path is going to get me there and which path isn't. Like I said here, that decision's been made. I'm already doing everything. I fully expect the thing I want is going to happen, just hasn't yet. And this is the stage when it manifests, when it shows up and is stable in physical reality, and I can celebrate its arrival. And that's tied directly to the wand and the King of Wands. 9 of Wands is Sagittarius energy of being walled off and defensive. There's 2 walled off defensive energies. One's on your side, 7 of Wands, and then the 9 of Wands is over here. This is also a card of healing. That's the wounded warrior, and he's built this wall around himself. It's a way to protect himself so he doesn't get hurt. He's trying to heal so he can get his energy right and take the next step in his journey. Sometimes that just represents a barrier that's in the way, or a barrier that they've placed in the way, especially with the Emperor in the shared energy. I've birthed this new connection, and I'm setting some boundaries here, and I'm putting a barrier in the way. It could be that. What's underlying that 9 of Wands is the Hanged Man. Pisces energy. Progress halted. No forward movement is happening. Things are stuck at a dead stop. Nothing's moving. This Knight of Pentacles, these feel really similar when you're going through it. It's almost impossible to tell the difference between the two at the time. But this, there is some sort of a movement. It's just so slow you can't really tell. With the Hanged Man, there ain't no movement. It's full stop. This is the energy of he's hanging upside down because he's trying to look at things from a different point of view than he normally would. This is someone who's looking at things which are external. Typically, it's someone who doesn't see their role in the situation. That this is like the blame game, the helpless victim. Like, well, it's not my fault I had to put this barrier in place. It's your fault. It's that kind of stuff. Not my fault I birthed a new connection and followed my wand. It's not my fault that I'm moving toward my wand. This is your fault, or it's her fault, or it's something outside of me's fault. 5 of Cups is behind it. Sadness, remorse, regrets, emotional loss. Notice how I keep yawning over and over and over again. It didn't happen until I got over here. This person is draining me. They probably drain you. That's probably why I've got the devil over here on your side. This is probably their toxic bullshit affecting you. But then again, this is also this, I got myself convinced that this is the one for me, that this is what I want, when in reality it's a toxic attachment. And I just don't see that Probably because I don't want that to be true. I don't want to see that. I want to have the hope. But there is an element of you that sees it, which is why I've got the internal conflict in two different cards showing up here. Yeah, there's sadness and remorse and loss, but there's also the 3 spilled cups, because the third party, man, is what crashed this all down. It's what knocked the cups over. And the 2 cups in the background is the other connection looming in the background. And there's the Emperor again. They're the one that's in control. They're the Emperor. Even though that's your major arcana card, they're showing up as the one who's in charge here. They get to set the boundaries. And they're just not looking at their role in the situation. It's not my fault you're sad, even though it actually is. When I clarify 9 of Wands, High Priestess, oh my goodness. Page of Pentacles, 9 of Wands again. High Priestess, again, she who knows, the intuition. This is your gut feelings, the signs, the dreams that have messages. It's your internal knowing. There's a barrier that they're putting in the way, and you know it. You probably don't have the facts to support what I'm saying is happening here. But if you're honest with yourself, you don't really need the facts. You just need to trust your internal knowing and trust your feelings on it. Part of you knows what I'm saying is actually true here, it looks like. The High Priestess can represent that there's stuff you don't know about yet. It hasn't been revealed to you yet. The Moon can also represent that there's stuff that you don't know about yet. It's hidden still. And I've got both of them out here. So if I've got both of those cards, pretty damn good bet that there's still shit you don't know about. There's still stuff that happened or is happening that you don't know about. And I got you looking for answers, but it's like what you're looking for is how do we overcome this? And what you're not looking for is what are they hiding from me? Next clarifier for 9 of Wands is the Page of Pentacles, news, messages, communications about some physical, oh my gosh, tangible opportunity presenting itself, some physical opportunity, communicating about that. That can be, hey, I'm going to be at this location on this day at this time. Let's meet up. We got an opportunity to physically do something together with the wand. There's a card of travel in there. It's possible that they went somewhere to travel. Damn. When I look at this, the central energy for them is the wand. There's a card of travel right above it. There's a card of travel to the left of it. And there's a card of travel right above that. Could be someone who's traveling for work. Now that I think about it, when I look back at your side, the world can oftentimes be travel over distances. Entirely possible that during some point in traveling, that's when the communications about physical opportunity happened. Could be you could feel that. You could feel something was off with it. Maybe even wanted to wall yourself off from that being true because clearly that would hurt. Final clarifier for 9 of Wands is the 9 of Wands. When I'm clarifying a card and I get the same card in the clarifiers, this is the universe telling me, dude, they've put a barrier in the way here. This is them putting up roadblocks. They've already manifested what they want. King of Wands, they've got it. Like, they've got what they want. They're putting a block between the two of you. That's why we got this idea of getting it rebirthed. They're in charge of that, and they're putting up barriers. This is probably they're pulling one way, you're pulling a different way, and you might be trying to figure out, can we overcome it without actually knowing the secret that they're keeping yet. This is one of those readings where I hope to God this didn't resonate with you whatsoever. I hope that this has absolutely no bearing on your actual situation. I know that's probably weird for a tarot reader who makes their living doing these readings to tell you, but I usually hope like hell that my readings don't resonate with anybody because I don't want you to be going through something like this. But That's what I have for you, and I hope it was helpful.